name is Nisha Hoover, your licensed mental health therapist, licensed in Mississippi, Texas, and Oregon. And today we're going to be going over emotional exhaustion versus physical tiredness. When someone says, I'm just tired, I've honestly learned to take a quick pause because sometimes they are physically tired, but oftentimes they are emotionally exhausted. And these experiences, although they feel similar, they are not the same. So, for example, and I'm going to actually be bringing in a lot of case studies. The names that I'm saying are not the names of my patients. I will never share any identifying information about what I talk about with my patients. So with that being said, I'm going to read so that way I don't miss any information. The first case that I want to share with you was I once worked with a client, and we can call her Maria. She was very successful, organized, and respected in her field. She slept 7 to 8 hours a night, exercised, and took vacations. But she would often come into sessions and say, I don't understand why I'm this tired. I'm doing everything right. As we got into our sessions further, she was constantly anticipating problems, managing other people's emotions, and monitoring how she perceived or how she looked. Her body was resting, but inside her nervous system wasn't. And that's what emotional exhaustion can look like. Physical tiredness usually has a much more clearer cause. And oftentimes when you rest, you can recover from just physical tiredness. When you sleep, you can feel better. It resolves once you get a well night rest. But with emotional exhaustion, the emotional side of it still lingers. You still wake up feeling heavy and exhausted. You take the time off, but that still doesn't help. You still feel heavy. Oftentimes, it's not about how much you've done. It's really about how long you've been in this state of mind. And so let's go over another case study. Another client, we'll just call him Daniel. Daniel is the reliable one in his family. When there's a crisis, he's the one that comes, that handles it. He's the one that he never asks for help. And like we was talking, and he said to me, I don't feel sad, I just feel flat. And flat can be one of those words that people may or may not say often. Flat usually has something to do with your affect. And a flat affect can be like, so like I'm being very expressive now, but like when you're flat, it's same look and just a monotone talk all the time. No emotion. So that's what flat can look like. So when we explore just going over things that he's been doing over the past decades of him doing it, he was a person that was always emotionally stable for everybody else, but he wasn't that for himself. Over time, of course, when you put yourself in this predicament of being the person that everybody relies on and calls on, over time, you are extending yourself emotionally, and you can feel tired. And the flatness of his affect was his nervous system trying to conserve some type of energy, because remember, when we are emotionally exhausted, our nervous system is still working. So our bodies need rest. Research on chronic stress shows that when the stress response is activated repeatedly over time, the body, again, accumulates what we call allostatic load. In my previous video, we went over what allostatic load is, which is cumulative burden of repeated stress over time. Cumulative, fancy word for increase, right? Or if you want to break it down even further, it's just a scientific way of saying that chronic stress leaves a residue. Even if the individual stressor doesn't seem dramatic, it makes somebody who is functioning feel very exhausted. And a lot of these people also function in the role of being a long-term caregiver, having a high responsibility. Like I told you before, our bodies are very smart, so our bodies will adapt to this type of feeling. But in the end, it really can affect our body in a negative way, and it sucks the life out of us long term. My last one that I'm going to talk about is this patient. Her name, we just call her Elise. She was caring for an aging parent while raising children. We call that the sandwich generation, because you're in this era where you gotta take care of your children, but you're also in that age where you gotta take care of your parents. So that's the sandwich generation. A sandwich. So she expressed that she do go to sleep, but she still feels tired. Upon looking at this, we found that even when she would sleep, her mind was still racing, was still scanning. She was still thinking about what did she do or what does she have to do tomorrow. When you sleep, your brain is still on. Symptoms of somebody that feels emotionally exhausted can be as follows: emotional irritability that they can't explain, feeling numb instead of sad, resentment for feeling guilty, or difficulty in experiencing joy, a sense of being done, quote unquote, but not knowing why. Just know that these are not character flaws. They are signals. And if I can caution you to do anything, I want you to be more aware of the smallest things that happen in your body. I don't want you guys to just come to therapy when things are big. I want you to come to therapy when things are just small. I want you guys to be mindful of your day-to-day and take a step back of how your day-to-day look when you are doing certain tasks. Know that physical tiredness improves sleep, but emotional exhaustion, that improves with once you feel safety, support, have boundaries, and reduce your hyper responsibility and overall regulating your nervous system. Emotional exhaustion improves when someone no longer has to carry everything alone. People can be responsible, dependable, and they're still performing even when nobody sees it. If you are watching this and you don't know if you are emotionally exhausted or physically tired, ask yourself these questions. If I got uninterrupted sleep for 5 nights in a row, would this feeling go away? If yes, your body needs rest. If no, your system may need something more than rest. It may need relief, and we can find that relief once you come to therapy. Just know that emotional exhaustion is not weakness. It's often the consequence of being the strong one in your family for too long. Your system is allowed to ask for something different. You don't have to be the strong one by yourself. It's okay to change the flow of what you have been doing for 10 years, for 20 years, okay? To book a consultation, go to my website, click book free consultation, scroll down, pick the date that you want, the time that you want, and then you're going to scroll below, put in your information, and then you check the box if you would like, and then you'll schedule a meeting. Make sure you check out the website, guys. And then other than that, that's it. You guys have a great rest of your day. Bye. Thank you for watching the channel. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe.